guys, it's Shanika here at NC Cap, and today we'll be talking about soda science. Well, what is soda science? Soda science is a set of STEM experiments that allow students to experiment and create their own sodas outside of your program or classroom. It is one of my personal favorites. When I did this with my students, they loved it, they enjoyed it, they talk about it to this day. And so I'm hoping that your students find the same joy that mine did as well. So a couple things before we get started. The materials. So the materials are pictured on the lesson as well as linked so that you can see photos of some of the materials. With the materials, I do want to say that all of them are budget friendly. For the materials that you see pictured, they cost me under $30 and it should service about 16 students depending on how much of the product they use. However, you do know your students, and when you start this, you may need to purchase more, but everything can be purchased for roughly under $100. So I just want to note, please be mindful of that. Some things, such as the journals, they are used in every lesson during the introductory assignment or warm-up, and during the closure or the exit ticket. So just to note, the journal is just a piece of paper with white paper inside. These are completely optional. Every warm-up and closure can be done verbally. I do recommend the journals because students have a time to fully process their thoughts and or use prior knowledge to just take a moment, be calm, and knock this out and really process what they've done and what they will be doing. So just a heads up, the journals are super duper cost efficient. And with the materials, I do want to say that you can go to local grocery stores and rally for donations. And most of these materials can be purchased at any grocery store in your neighborhood. And I also ask you all to rally behind your parents and ask them to donate. A lot of us do teach in low income environments, but when parents believe in your mission and what you're doing for their child, they will go the extra mile. So just be mindful of that with the materials. The second thing is pacing. Remember your audience. These lessons are generalized for middle school students, roughly. However, you know where your students are starting and you know where you want them to go. So always meet them where they are and grow them from there. With that being said, if you teach elementary, you may have to scale back the lessons a little bit, be a little bit more patient, and scaffold more and question students more to get them to the point that you want. However, if you teach high school, you may need to let them drive the car for a little bit, and I'm sure that they will do well. And you may need to add additional pieces so that it matches their grade level and the needs that they have. So let's get started. So we're not going to start at lesson 1, but I do want to say that lesson 1 is students experimenting. They're creating their own sodas, and they're going to use water. They're not going to use the club soda. They're going to use water. So lesson 2 is where we are here. This is where they're perfecting their recipe. So they're going to do 2 things. The first thing they're going to do is they are going to number the cups from 1 to 5 with 100 milliliters of water. Now, I've already put the 100 milliliter of water in here, and I've also put in my flavorings and a little bit of food coloring because the flavorings are not an appetizing color. So cup number 3 should be your recipe that you worked on in lesson 1. So this should be just the flavoring, the water, and if you want, the food coloring. This should be your exact recipe. In this one, I put 3 spoonfuls of strawberry extract, which was my flavoring. And I also put in 3 drops of red food coloring. And then there's 100 milliliters of water. In cup number 1, you're going to have the least amount. So there will be 1 spoonful of strawberry extract and then 1 droplet of food coloring. And 5 should have the most with 5 spoonfuls of strawberry extract and 5 drops of food coloring. So what students are going to do here is they're tasting. They're perfecting their recipe. They're figuring out, hey, do we have too much flavor in our drink or too little flavoring? So you just want to be mindful that with this part, they're just taste testing. Now, with students taste testing, and you'll learn this in lesson 1, you want them to taste test out of the 5-ounce cups. And these cups should have their names on it, and they should be reusable for you guys to use them throughout the lesson. That way it's cost effective. So students are tasting, they're having a great time, and then they pick a cup. And they're going to, let's say, cup 4 was exactly the right amount of flavoring. They're going to keep that, write that down on the improved recipe sheet, and then they're going to do the same thing with sugar. Now, I know my students, and they absolutely went crazy with sugar, bananas. That was the thing we had to buy the 20-pound bag of, and we had to keep replenishing because students loved adding ridiculous amounts of sugar to their experiments. But something they have to keep in mind throughout this is it's not just for you. It's for the public. So when Sprite makes their sodas, are they making it just for the CEO? No, they're making it for everyone to enjoy. So that's why we do this. You're going to do this again with sugar. In cup 1, I literally have 1 spoonful of sugar. 2 spoonfuls. 3, which is my original amount, which is 3 spoonfuls of sugar. And then 4 spoonfuls. And 5 has 5 spoonfuls. So again, I liked number 4. Just enough sugar, not too much sugar, but not too little. So what students are going to do in the next lesson is they're going to multiply their recipe. So if they use any other flavoring, I have lime here. But if they use lime juice or orange juice or anything else, you just want to be mindful that they have to do this with each one. Now, with the flavorings, they can do this in the same cup as the extract, but they are not required to do it separately. They can also do the sugar like this, but I prefer to do the sugar and the flavoring separate so they know exactly how much they want to add. So in the next one, they're going to multiply their recipes. So with that lesson, what I want you to keep in mind is your audience. That is the main thing. Just keep in mind, who are you serving? Because not all students have learned multiplication tables yet. And if they have, not everyone's an expert. So you just want to be mindful. You may have to do some scaffolding of the lesson and differentiating so that students get to the same point. Now, with this lesson, you're going to make it a soda. And that's why we use the club soda. It's clear just like the water. And it should provide the same results, except it has a little fizz to it. So you're going to take your flavorings, and students have to multiply it to fit 1 liter of soda. So with that, I do want to say that 1 liter, with this we've used 100 milliliters, but we have to make it 1 liter. So you have to make sure students understand measurements and that they know, hey, I have to take this little bit and make it a lot. Now, I recommend getting a funnel because when you do this, you're going to do the multiplication first and then funnel all your ingredients in. Sugar, flavoring, food coloring, everything that you use. This keeps the mess together. So I would recommend using these. They come in 2 sizes. You can buy them right out of the kitchen aisle at Walmart. And so then the next lesson is the logos. That's pretty self-explanatory. Students are going to take this wrapper off and create their own logo to put on their soda. So they need to create a name, all that good stuff. The 5th lesson is the script for their commercial. They will be filming commercials. This can be done on your cell phone or on any kind of camera that you have. They can do it themselves. They can create props. That's up to you. And lesson 7 and 8 is the survey. So you will be administering a survey to either families that you serve or to staff in your program. But they're going to judge the sodas based on what they like. So I will say, please use safety measures. When it comes to this, if you guys can grab gloves, just please use safety measures because you will be giving this soda to the public or to other people outside of the students tasting it. So just be mindful of cleanliness and things of that nature. And then lesson 8 is reporting your results out. This is where students are creating a graph, seeing what people liked and didn't like. Lesson 8 is pretty self-explanatory as well. And from there, you guys can do any of the extension activities listed in the additional resources on the lesson. So thanks, guys. Again, this is Shanika here at NC Cap, and I hope you all have a great day.